This is Quigg and Cassius for IFLTV. We're at Box IQ here in Dubai. You might recognise this man on the right. He was a firm favourite with the IFL viewers back in the day, many moons ago. Scott Quigg. How are you, mate?
All good, all good. I'm in Dubai, so I can't complain.
We'll talk about your, what's the word, procedure in a minute, what you've had done.
I'm looking younger.
Well, you're looking brilliant, but we'll talk about the work you've had done in a second, right? We'll talk about that in a second. Right, Scott, do you want to introduce your fighter, Andy Charanek, if I pronounced that correctly?
Yep.
Right, Andy, I'll go to you first. So, how did this link up happen with Scott Quigg?
We were connected through a mutual good friend of ours. I was coming to the gym and he was coming to the gym. And after my last amateur fight I had, which I lost, he had called me up and said, I know who you need to take you to the next level. And then after that, we got connected. He came out for 4 weeks. 4 weeks turned into 2 months and then turned into 2.5 years.
Wow. So that is pretty much what happened.
That is pretty much how it is. Like I say, he had his last fight as an amateur. It didn't go to plan. And then, like I say, a mutual friend spoke to him, seeing how hard he trained and how dedicated he was, and he just needed the right guidance. So he connected us. I had a phone call with him and his dad, and then the idea was to come out. I was coming out for 5 weeks. I said, I'll come out for 5 weeks. I'll have a look at him. I'll tell you how good I think he can be. You know me, I'm brutally honest. And so I'll come out for 5 weeks. And from the first session that I did with him to the last session of the 5 week, like I said, when I first come out, he was very, very, very raw. Like, novice raw. But from the improvements he'd made over the 5 week, wasn't normal. And again, it was just to how much he listened and how much he applied himself. And so again, it come to the end of the 5 weeks. I said, if you want me to stay on, I'll stay on. So I stayed on for another 2 months. And then from there, I think I went back to the UK, and then he's basically 10 months of the years, he's been with me. You know, so ever since, so January 2023 we met, and then, like I say, 2.5 years later, we're here now. He's made his pro debut, and I couldn't be any happier, Joe, with the progress he's making.
Excuse me. Andy, so you've had your pro debut, that's out of the way. So obviously your next fight will be on the Grassroots show on July the 4th here in Dubai. Yep. Opponent yet to be confirmed, but looking just to gradually kind of step yourself up with every fight. So whoever this opponent is, I'm sure that's what it'll be.
Well, I don't really ask. My job is just to keep working hard, train, focus on myself, and then they just tell me where and when to be, and then I'm there. You know what I mean? I don't really care about who and why and all that. So yeah.
For us that hasn't watched you box yet, whose style would you compare yourself to, if there was a comparison out there?
Comparison?
Yeah, if there was one.
You have to ask him because he watches me the most. I'd be biased.
I wouldn't. His styles. You know, I'm not. Obviously the way I coach, I'm taking bits from certain things that I believe in work, and then applying it to him to make what fits for him, what's right for him. If I showed you a video, if I showed you a video of the first 3-4 sessions I've done with him, and you see him now, it isn't normal. Do you know? And as I said, like he's been with me wherever I've been in the world. If I've been back in the UK, he's come with me. Then we went out to LA for 9 weeks. Where I used to go every year to go out there, get different sparring, work with different trainers, learn new things. And you know, his parents, I spoke to his dad and said, listen, this is what I did. He's not got the most amateur background, he's got the most experience, so we need to make as much as we can up by going around different gyms, getting different experience. And we went to LA for 9 weeks, and that for me even cemented that the way he applied himself out there, the way the sparring the sparring out there is totally different to anything that's out here. You know, and I think it was after about 4 weeks of being there, I had him sparring Nate Diaz. You know, he joined Nate Diaz's camp for when he was fighting there. I think it was Masvidal. He was fighting Masvidal. He brought him in, and don't get me wrong, Nate Diaz isn't the greatest boxer, but as a 19-year-old, very right to be in with someone of that stature and, you know, that well known. Again, he handled it, and like I say, I couldn't be any happier with the progress he's made. And if you actually seen him in the gym and seen him training, you wouldn't thinking with the experience that the limited experience he has as an amateur. These ain't amateur fights. They're below white collar fights in the UK. So that's the standard over here. So people will say that I'm just speaking the truth. You see that to where he is now and how he's applying himself now. You think there's no way he's only had fucking 5 amateur fights. 4 amateur fights.
But for yourself, at the age you're at, there's no hurry. Your development can happen.
Sorry, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
Joe, like when he was saying before, he just focuses on the training, and that's where again, it's up to me. Yeah, and I like say I'll guide him right. You know, I don't need to. We're learning on. He's also learning on the job. Yeah, so there's going to be no rush. We're going to be built right and make the right steps at the right time, and again, all he has to do is focus on his boxing, and I'll decide when the step's ready to be made.
Yeah, but again, no hurry for you at the age you're at.
Yeah. No, I just again keep my head down, keep listening to him, stay in the gym, and then whatever I'm told, and that's what I do. You know what I mean? But that's only because I trust him that much. You know what I mean? When he says pull back, I pull back. When he says go, I go. Left, right. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Has Scott ever showed you his ring walk from his house?
Yes,
he did. You've
I
seen that?
I discovered that on my own.
What, without him telling you?
No. Yeah, on my own. Without him telling me. I discovered that on my For You page alone.
One of the most iconic British ring walks of all time.
I've even said, listen, can I recreate it? And he said, no, it's almost too iconic for you to take.
And as to how many years on, it's still being talked about now.
For the right reasons.
Yeah.
For the right reasons.
Yeah, at the time it was... whose idea was that? Was it actually your idea?
Paul Speak.
Paul Speak?
But did
Paul
you think
Speak,
it was
yeah.
a good idea when you seen it?
I absolutely thought it was a great idea.
At the time.
But how come it
listen,
didn't age well?
at the time,
Yeah.
everyone thought it was mint. But if there's one thing that's not aged well, it's definitely that. When it comes, I think when was it? I think it was it about May time? I can't remember when it was, because that was obviously in Bury, so it was one of the things. But I'm sure it's about. But every time it comes around around about the time of the year it was, just keeps coming bam, and then everyone's just.
Your views start to spike, don't they?
Yeah,
Instagram reach.
I think listen. I think even McGregor reposted it one year.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely taking the piss.
You know why? Because I have random people send it to me sometimes, you know. No, I'm not even joking.
What is this the knob that
Honestly,
trains you?
it's like, don't you know this guy? I'm like, yeah, I do. Yeah.
You know, there was a few... There's probably a top 5 Scott Quigg iconic moments in Britain. There probably is. I mean, obviously the chip shop stuff, etc. Back in the day. All right, well, listen, we'll be here for your second pro fight on the 4th of July here in Dubai. So we'll definitely catch up with you kind of after your fight, and we'll get a reflection on how you performed. Hopefully you get the W and move on to 2-0.
Inshallah.
Have you got anything else you'd like to add, Andy?
Just watch. That's it. I can say everything, but that doesn't mean anything if I don't do it. So just watch.
What's your social media? Instagram? You're on?
It's Andy Charanek. Oh, Andy_Charanek. So ANDY_CHARANEK.
And you're still Scott Quigg. At Scott Quigg.
Yeah,
Dr. Scott Quigg.
just got a quick.
Okay. Guys, thank you very much, and we'll speak to you on the 4th of July here in Dubai.
Sounds good.